I just found out that there's a doctor nicknamed Dr. Death that's been killing people. Right? Medical malpractice. Literally killing people. So I'm sharing these TikTok videos to spread awareness of medical malpractice because unfortunately it is so super common. Like, very common. So yeah, these are the videos you're gonna see in the next clips.
My name is Kobe Simpson. I'm a nurse, a registered polysomnography technologist, a certified registered central service tech, and I hold my CIC in infection control and prevention. I'm coming on here today because I need advice from nurses, respiratory therapists, doctors. I don't give a shit who. As long as you're in the medical field, I want your fucking advice. I'm dealing with a doctor who has the nickname Dr. Death, by the way, here in Indiana, responsible for 2 patients' deaths that were under my fucking watch. Mine. Now, these patients were fine. Now, I'm only going to talk about one mainly today because it just happened, which I was very close to this patient and their family, and it came out of nowhere, right? I mean, we expected it was going to happen at some point, but not that day. Not that day. Now, when I called the doctor, the patient's oxygen saturation had dropped down to 50. All the way from 88 to 50, right? That's a huge fucking difference. I went in and did what I do, and I adjusted a few things, gave a breathing treatment, sat the patient up. Apologize, I'm not gonna let anything else about the patient out, HIPAA-wise. I don't even think that's violating HIPAA that I just said that. But anyway, the moment the doctor walks in, she removes the nasal cannula that was giving oxygen to this patient. She also tells me to remove the Daisy machine, which is what, has the blood pressure cuff, the pulse oximeter meter on it, and a heart monitor on it as well. She told me to remove it from the patient and move it out of the way because it was too loud and it was taking up too much space. He was not dead, okay? Now, she waited at least 2 minutes, at least 2 fucking minutes before she placed her stethoscope on the chest of the patient to check for a heartbeat. At that point, then she declares the death, which is bullshit because, again, that patient was breathing before that nasal cannula was removed. And at the beginning of my shift, which was not much before that, that patient had even said words to me, had even opened their eyes and looked at me. And obviously, the patient was not in good shape. That didn't last long. The consciousness of the patient, I mean. But still, she removed the nasal cannula and all monitoring equipment from the patient and waited minutes, which in my eyes, she waited for the patient to die. And when I went in to second the time of death, which I was right there as she did it, as I grabbed my stethoscope and moved towards the patient, I put my hand out with the head of my stethoscope between my fingers, going in to check for a heart rate. She grabs my arm and says, "No, stay there." The fuck? I whispered to her, "Don't start with me." And because her and I have had fucking issues in the past because she doesn't like to listen. And again, I said this has happened with another patient before. That's why we have some fucking issues. Now, I just need some fucking advice on what you guys think about that, and I'm going to be posting more videos on that as well because there's a lot more information about it, and I just need to make sure that I'm not breaking HIPAA or anything like that. Even though the patient is passed, I still want to respect their dignity and all that, all that stuff. That patient was a very close friend of mine, and it caused a lot of fucking issues for me. I didn't even go into work the next day. Please let me know your thoughts, comments, whatever. If you don't want a message on the video, then DM me. I appreciate it. My name's Kobe Simpson. I'm a nurse, a registered polysomnography technologist, a certified registered central service tech, and I hold my CIC in infection control prevention. I'm coming on today to update you guys about Dr. Death, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, or about the video I made, go to my profile and click on Dr. Death Series. It'll show this video and the first one. It'll say part 1. I encourage you to watch the first one in its entirety, along with this video in its entirety, because any money made from both of them will go to the family of the patient who had passed. Now, to catch up on some of you who have not seen the first one, a patient was killed by a doctor that I work with by removing life-saving medical monitoring equipment along with a nasal cannula that was keeping him alive. This patient was talking and had even, opened his eyes and had conversations at the beginning of my shift. By 2 or 3 hours later, the patient had passed because the doctor came in, removed all monitoring equipment and the nasal cannula, waited minutes, which actually I found out today, it was 4 minutes in its entirety before she checked for a heartbeat. At that moment, she declared the patient dead, and when I went in to check and second the time of death, which in my state of Indiana is it's the law, so you have to have someone second it. She grabs my wrist and says, "No, stay there," refusing to allow me to do my job, refusing to allow me to do my scope of practice as a nurse, and it's just, I'm really shitty about this. Now, I'm coming on here today because the family doesn't have the money to fight the legal fight that they're wanting to do. So I'm capable of filing a lawsuit and covering it myself and, just whatever. But the doctor has been reported to the IDOI, which is the Indiana Department of Insurance, along with the state's attorney general. They have advised me and the family to file a lawsuit while the doctor is also being investigated, as it'll come from her insurance, the money that has to be paid out and all that. But our end goal here is to get the doctor's license removed and them out of practice because they have killed more than one patient. 2 under my watch, which the first one I didn't notice it at the time, but the second one, obviously, which is the one I'm talking about in the Dr. Death series, which you can find on my page again, I noticed it right away and I spoke up about it. But there wasn't a lot I could do given the family was there. It was going to cause a huge scene, and I regret it. I should have just pushed the doctor out of the way, done what I should have done, and kept the patient alive. The patient was a close friend of mine. I built a good relationship with the family and the patient. They trusted me more than anything and more than anyone in that building. In fact, they had my personal phone number and would ask me questions, text me, talk to me daily. The wife of the patient still messages me, talks to me, and it's just, it's hard. If I could, I would help them in ways that, most people could only dream of, but I can't. So I'm hoping that you guys can help us and watch these clips all the way through, engage all the way through, hit the likes after you've watched the video, comment, share, save the video, whatever you got to do to help bring up the RPM so that we can bring in as much money as possible for this family. They do not have money to file a lawsuit and to pay for an attorney and to bring this doctor to justice. But if they can get the money along with file the lawsuit along with mine, we have a shot at taking this doctor down. This doctor is very old, needs to retire, and has not killed just 2 patients of mine, which I found out has killed 2 additional patients that were not under my watch. One had a broken arm and refused to come in and check the patient until 4 days later. That patient ended up dying. Now, the other patient fell, hit his head, had a gash, completely bled out, basically. She came in, it was like 3 or 4 hours later to stitch him up. That patient ended up having an internal bleed and had to be rushed to the hospital. Well, we just found out today, last night on my night shift, that patient died after being released from our facility just a few days after being released. Now, he had some dizzy spell fell, which I guarantee you was linked to the head injury that was caused by him falling in our facility and her not sending him out to get a CT scan, but rather than that, stitching him up, which you could fit 4 fingers into the back of his head all the way down. That's how big the gash was and how deep it was. This doctor needs to be brought to justice, and I'm doing everything that I possibly can. Again, please go to my page and click on the Dr. Death series. You'll see this video and the original one, which is labeled part 1. This one will be part 2. Now, there's more that I'm going to release as time goes by and as the information comes in back to me from IDOI and the state's attorney general. They have told me that I am allowed to talk about this as long as I'm not releasing the patient's name or family members' names and stuff like that, or identifying information as to where I work, what town I work in, all that stuff. Dr. Death is a nickname the doctor has been given by family members and town members who have known this doctor the entire time that this doctor has been in practice, which they are now 85 and have been in practice for over 50 years. So I will say I looked at all the medications of the patients that have this doctor. None of them make sense. In fact, the doctor has recently discontinued life-saving medications on 2 patients that are in good health. All discontinued. And I printed out all this information and I'm sending it to the state's attorney general today and the IDOI as well, because the only reason you would remove this stuff or discontinue these medications is if the patient was dying. Well, these patients are dying and they're not on hospice. So to me, that seems as if removing these medications is going to cause them to go downhill and eventually die. Now, this doctor gets paid per death after assessing them before the time of death, and I'm thinking that that's what's going on. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble job-wise if this is seen. I'm taking a huge risk here because I do need help. I need help for the family, and I need help bringing this doctor down. If you are a doctor, nurse, respiratory therapist, sterile processing tech, patient care tech, CNA, I don't care. Please watch this video in its entirety. Please engage with it as much as possible. Please share it. And please just help this family out by doing this, okay? There will be a Cash App link in my bio. It will be my Cash App, as I don't believe the family has one. Most of the members of the family are fairly older. There is one that is about my age. I've not talked to her specifically since that night, but she was one of the only ones who noticed what was taking place and noticed what was going to happen after those, monitoring systems were removed along with the nasal cannula. I have 3 written witness testimonies that have been sent to the state's attorney general along to IDOI, and that will be given to our attorneys as well. The Cash App, if you guys send anything, it will be given directly to the family. I will show receipts of that. I will show, if whether it's sending it to them, showing you receipts of that, or showing the receipts that it's been sent to an attorney or used for an attorney for this purpose, that will be done. Please just watch the entire video, engage with it, do whatever you got to do to help us out. This doctor is killing people, and I believe it is on purpose, 100%, with full intent, and I believe it's for financial gain. That's all I have right now. I will update you guys with more when I have it. Thank you. Part 3 on the Dr. Death series. You're going to want to hear this one. Regarding the doctor nicknamed Dr. Death, 2 nights ago. I apologize, I'm losing my voice, so please listen closely. The doctor with the nickname Dr. Death 2 nights ago had a patient perfectly fine during the day. Again, sorry for my voice. This patient
blood sugar had dropped. That's all. They did get some shots of glucagon, got it up. It had gone back down, right? So there was some issues going on there as to what was happening. Now, they ended up calling the doctor. The doctor ordered morphine for this fucking patient. Why? Why morphine? Well, anyway, the doctor, goddamn voice, the doctor didn't come to assess the patient till 2 days later anyway. But the patient, which I have this on documentation, I have it filmed. I can even show screenshots as long as I can hide all HIPAA-related content. The patient's allergies are strictly morphine, oxycodone, fentanyl, that shit. Yet the doctor prescribes morphine. Fucking morphine. Now, the patient was on hospice, but the patient wasn't dying. You can be on hospice and not die, or not, be expected to die. So, what I'm saying is this patient was fucking fine. The only issue they had was a drop in blood sugar. Some slight breathing issues, nothing that couldn't be fucking fixed by, me or the other nurse. I'm also an RT. Also, do things with sleep studies, so I'm a registered polysomnography tech. I'm a nurse and sterile processing tech, and I hold my CIC in infection control and prevention. And apparently I hold a fucking inner compass to the fucking illegal bullshit all these fucking people do around me. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm super fucking pissed. And when I brought this shit up to the doctor yesterday when I went into my shift, she fucking ignored me. She didn't say shit to me. She just walked right fucking past me. Because I asked just straight up, hey, why did you give morphine to this patient when they're allergic? I said that was their one fucking allergy. That and penicillin, right? So it said penicillin, morphine, fentanyl, and oxycodone. Patient can't even take codeine, okay? That's how allergic this patient is to those substances. Yet you prescribe 1 ml of morphine. Now, I'm not going to say the concentration because that doesn't matter. It was a low concentration. But still, 1 ml of morphine every 30 fucking minutes. And it was given to this patient. The first time it was given, patient immediately had breathing issues, and I went and got atropine for this patient to stop the secretions so that they could breathe better, right? And then the order had been put in or whatever, because at this point I don't give a shit what that doctor says. I don't give a fuck, because the next time they try to do this shit, I'm gonna deck them and do what's right for the patient, because I should have done that with my patient when I realized what the fuck was happening. I should have just knocked this doctor out, took over, and apologized to the family and said, hey, this is what's going on. I apologize, but I'm saving your fucking family member. So I did what I had to do that night. I am going to get fired when they see these TikToks. They will be up for a little bit, and then I'm going to have to hide them on my page as ads, okay? That means they'll still show up on your For You page. You can still share them. You can still comment on them. I can still see everything. But if you go to my page, it will not show up, okay? I'm getting this out, and I'm going to give it an hour or two to make it out there and reach as many people. If you want a friend request me, that's fine. I appreciate it. The more people I have, the more people that can hear this and know what the fuck is going on. And yes, I'm in Indiana. Good old shitty fucking Indiana. Anyway, one day soon I'm going to say this doctor's name, because I am this fucking close to fucking bringing it all down on her. Now, the doctor's been banned from a hospital in Bloomington for having too many excessive deaths under their license. They were never investigated. They just didn't want the liability anymore, right? So, you don't get the nickname Dr. Death after, 40 years of practice without a fucking cause, right? You're Dr. Death for a fucking reason, and it's because you kill people. I'm starting to believe it's with intent. Harvesting organs, I saw those comments. Yeah, possibly. that's a huge fucking issue, and that just came out on the news too, and I'm well aware of the shit that happens about that around here. Well aware. That's a whole other series that I need to get into. But right now, for the time being, you will find this is part 3 in the Dr. Death series. Please share this. This is the newest part, or newest thing that has happened since my last post, which I had been saving that in my drafts for over a week, since before July 4th weekend. I found out that the place I am contracted through right now, they contracted me to a facility, and that facility had been looking at my TikTok. Thank God they didn't see anything else other than the one where I'm talking about nurses not passing their meds and shit like that. It's the one that has like 68,000 views or some shit. But they were pissed off about that. So if they were mad about that, they're going to be mad about this. But yes, I have reported this doctor to the IDOI, which is the Insurance Department of, or the Indiana Department of Insurance. I've reported the doctor to the state's attorney general, and I've also hired an attorney to file a lawsuit in regards to my half of it, not on the family's, although the money will go to the family. I have talked to the family, but she denied my right to second the time of death, which we had gone back in. This was the first patient I had spoke about. That patient still had a heartbeat. When I went to turn on the nasal cannula to give that patient oxygen and to start, CPR, whatever, just whatever I needed to fucking do, right? He then lost his heartbeat. So, things were done. He was a DNR, so morally I couldn't just bring him back, even though it's just a lot of shit, okay? But this is, again, part 3 of the Dr. Death series. This is the newest development, and I have all the fucking proof that she made this order to give the morphine to the patient, knowing this patient is allergic to morphine, fentanyl, codeine, oxycodone, all that shit, even hydrocodone. So if you're a nurse, a doctor, fellow RT, fellow nurse, sterile processing tech, CNA, I don't give a shit. Comment, fucking share, like it. Please, anything I make off these videos will go to the family. The wife of the patient who had passed in my first video, she needs help, and I don't know how else to help her. I've mowed her lawn. I've met up with her to eat with her a few times because of her being lonely and just needing to talk to somebody, right? Her husband died after 40 years of marriage. So I'm doing what I can, man. I got my own family though, 4 kids. I'm stressed out to the fucking max, and I'm still having to go to work at this place and just a lot of stuff. Please do me a favor. Even if it's not for me, do it for the family. Share the fucking piss out of this video and let TikTok do what it was meant to fucking do. And that's save lives and call it the fucking bullshit from the people who are fucking higher than us and who have control.